after a short break with our next session. So straight from the talk about school and how to learn to actually learn something about the innovation trap. With me on stage is Axel from Evrbit, and yeah, you're going to start. What's the exact how to avoid the innovation trap, right?
Yeah, or how to avoid the Ferrari problem, and about what you have to take care if you want to have sustainable innovation.
Okay, so please educate us and
I try.
Have a lot of fun on the stage. I think after the talk we will have a little bit of time for Q&A. So as always, if you have questions, mark them down, and later on we get straight to them. Or should they ask just in between?
I'm totally flexible, so I prepared a Quadlibet out of presentation from 2016 to 2023. So I'm totally open to be interrupted anytime, and if somebody's interested to keep on talking afterwards, I'm also open for that. So I'm making a jam session with you together.
Awesome.
First PowerPoint jam.
With the last official session of the day. So, see you later.
Thank you very much. So, warm welcome. My name is Axel Steinkuhle. I'm one of the 3 founders of Evrbit. We were founded in 2015. We're 3 persons. We are now 32? Yes, 32, and a couple more are freelancers. And I was asked here to talk about a free lecture, and I decided to say, let's talk about the innovation gap. And what you see here are 4 presentations. As I said, from the left-hand side, 2017. So that's the reason why you see these old Samsung Galaxy VR devices inside, but I think still a cool device, to be honest. Was a good idea. Yes, and I would make a little run through a couple of ideas and a couple of models, which from my position are very important to make sustainable innovation, because a lot of innovations don't get to the market, as you know. There's a good book I can recommend. It's called Forgotten Innovations. It's about all the innovations that happened in the years before we were born. There were a lot of things that were cool, but they were all in the wrong time or in the wrong space. But I will add to this model, and a lot of innovations today are in the wrong operation model. And let's start, and to let me get comfortable, to be honest, and get into the flow, I always like to start with something I'm very good in, is to present what Evrbit was 2016. So you're not seeing now Evrbit today. It's Evrbit 2016, and we were started, as I said, with 3 persons. To this direction we were about 8, and we called us an innovation technology boutique. So everything you see here was part of our pitch deck, which we go to our customers, hopefully, and in the regularly, nothing of what they see, they bought. But it convinced them to work with us. And let me take to a journey, because from the audience, I think, we have a couple of innovations here that never make it to the market, because I never have a good use case for it. It was only to demonstrate what we are able to do. And then the customer says, this is the right company, let's do something good for them. And yeah, let's see what we are doing. So, I skipped this. For us, it's always very important that technology is part of this real nature we are living in. There's often this gap, I go into the internet. This is already the wrong direction. The internet is also there if you not go there. Yeah, so first of all digital stuff we experience in the real world is part of our real world. It's just fast physics. There are servers, there are hard drives, there are lines. I can make the whole internet written down on the Mount Everest. It would be slow, but it is the same. So this is for us as a company very important, that digital is part of our real nature and just a subgroup. And then you can treat it as nature. And the second thing what for us is very important is that digital should always extend the social environment of people instead of isolating them. But then you ask me why they have these goggles on. You will understand very soon how we can manage this. So what can you do to innovate technology as part of the nature? The first thing you have to do is connect digital stuff with time, space, and subject, because this is the rule where we are all in. I cannot make time traveling now. So we are forced to live in the same time. We are not beaming me from one station to another. So if I drop a pencil, it always flows down. If it flows up, oh, we get a crazy laugh, but not now. So space conditions are also for us the combining conditions to make us as one organism and feeling safe. And then we are subjects. We interact with others. I look to you, you nick to me, you have directly an interactive behavior. Great. So what happens if we add this to digital? First of all, what would happen if you can control any device in the world in any heterogeneous network with any kind of operation system on the accuracy of a millisecond, accurate enough to make audio sync and create large speaker systems just by your mobile phones? So we can control any device in the world in any network that they play simultaneously audio and video accurate. What you see here is we have two live streams, and we make a switch in these live streams, but not by, like you do here, switching the signal from one to another signal. We're telling the devices to start another stream. So the whole director is in the device. And I just say, device 1, please make stream 1, device 2 makes please device stream 2. You see an asynchronous communication and a synchronous media execution. So this is just a behavior to say, hey, what happens? We don't know how to do it and what to do it, you will see later, because this was made for Lufthansa first, just to sync the screens in the bottom row of your TVs to have a family experience. But our sync was so accurate that we start to do other stuff with it. So what happens if you add space? So to the left-hand side, you see a little Bluetooth hack from us where we say, okay, what if we have a plane and we add multiple devices? Can we scale the images over the devices? So what happens here, just add more and more devices and the screens get bigger and bigger. And the mathematics behind is very simple. If you have a plane and a dedicated grid where you know the end positions, distance 1, distance 2, distance 3, sorting mathematically in a plane, there's only one solution. This can be scaled up, as you see to the right-hand side, multiple screens. And this is a cable-less multi-screen experience, where you can handle everything by yourself. This can be scaled up, and I will stop this promotion very soon, because what do you see also here, innovation gap? Nothing of this getting into a product. Nothing. It was only to convince people. And we scaled it up. We make for Samsung, this is the only case for Samsung we did, because they had a lot of telephones. They want to make a little shops experience where they said, hey, let's do all our telephones there, but I don't know how much. How can I tap them to organize them? And we always tried to make this reality. We are able to make a whole stadium into one single display. To communicate to all of these devices, I need 60K of data. Because all this is asynchronous communication, all media is detected before. Then we have these phantom cells, which are only able to handle 25,000 devices, so they have asynchronous communication and so on. But again, if you don't find a person that makes this innovation path with you, to dim the lights, install another phantom cells, and so on. So again, if you have great innovation ideas and don't bring it to market, if you put the greatest innovation into the forest and the marketing is not telling about it, you can throw it away. So to all of your programmers and marketing, you are equal. Yeah? There is no one better or worthy. So if you have a great code and nobody's talking about it, you don't have anything. If you have great people talk about great stuff, but you can't deliver to promise, both fails. This is the first trap you can fall in. If you don't have the right place, the right timing, and the right communication, innovation will fail. Now I skip all of this little funny stuff. So another thing is, to avoid innovation gap, is to think that you have always to do the newest stuff. So when we made our VR cinemas, because we suddenly see, hey, when we can sync devices, and we can sync audio, why cannot we remove the headphones from all the VR devices and make a synchronized cinema experience with Dolby Surround? All people around us in the industry said, you are not doing VR. You are doing old-time 360 video stuff. This is not innovative. But they forgot that the people who experience this has no idea what it is. And what we are able to do with this technology was suddenly to bring 250, our largest event was 2,000 people, simultaneously in VR. And what happens now with the social moment? Innovative technology experience alone is a weird moment. Innovation technology experience in the group, in a social environment that you are used to, like in a cinema, becomes a big one. Now I skip this presentation because the rest is advertisement for the company. If you want to have pictures, you can ask me later. I want to make now a short pause moment. Everybody knows photography as one of the biggest inventions, I think, to create media in our life. Moving images, everything. This is the moment when photography gets really famous. We call it the Kodak moment. Photography was there for nearly 30 years. Yeah, so 30 years there was photographing. If you want to be a photographer, you need how to know make a photo, you need to know how to make the chemics, you have a dark room, you have everything. So the invention was there. But the operation of this invention was only for experts. And what Kodak makes, they make a very small invention. They build a service around the innovation. And they close a big gap by that. Because they say, you press a button, we do the rest. So Kodak developed a camera which you can use, and then you just throw it into the postal, and you get it back, your images. So the innovation was there already before, but they close the gap of the innovation to be a popular mass market medium, because they make the service that you don't have to be a photographer, or no, other way around, you don't have to be a chemist to be a photographer. So what they achieved was they are not selling a product. What they sold was what the user become. Because suddenly the madams and the people on ships where make all the travels, all of them suddenly are able to be a photographer. And this is one of the biggest steps in closing gaps to innovations. What should your customer become, not what you sell? I'll give you another example. So there are a couple of examples what companies wanted to sell. Kodak wanted to sell a camera. They still didn't think about this closing the gap, yeah? But what they achieved, that everybody becomes a photographer. Successful, we would say. Yeah? Kodak was successful, but they missed the jump to go to digital because they said we have the best thing, but other stuff. eBay, they wanted to become a trading platform. But what they achieved was that everybody can become an entrepreneur and make a business because they do a couple of things like, I come later to the skill set. Google wants to have a search engine. But what they made, everybody become an expert in research. Now look at two not so good examples of innovations. Segway, they wanted to sell a new vehicle. What they created was weirdos. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't give you really the comfort of a new feature. And the supersized value for money campaign from McDonald's was a total threat. Yeah? They make unhealthy persons. So there's a good example that I would like to give you with you, or you asked me to educate. If I want to educate is that there's a 5-point checklist where you can always control and check yourself, does my product or service can be successful? Only if we have all of these 5 things green, it will be a successor. And we make now a free flow example about Instagram, you all know. And who still knows Hipstermatic? Anybody here in the room who knows Hipstermatic? It is the same like Instagram. They even have better filters. Yeah? They have even better UX at the beginning. They start simultaneously. So they both have one feature, skill, because they create great pictures. Yeah? Hipstermatic uses a trick that they make a very small image, so they have to zoom out. They make a trick by physics, yeah, to create good images. Instagram makes great filters. Time. I don't have to make all the process to take care how to publish it, to store it, to make the right photo, to make the right filter. Photoshop was not needed. I can make great stuff. So they both have time. Security, health, yeah, I feel better, it's safe. Hipstermatic was very cool and safe because it was only stored local. Instagram, not directly. But now comes the biggest point, social. Can I connect better with my social peer group or not? Instagram, yes. Hipstermatic has nothing else than to share your photo on other channels. From the innovation, access and reach, same. If you have the sharing function and all the platform stuff, you have a better reach. But from the feature, from the innovation part, Hipstermatic and Instagram were exactly the same. One is dead and one is a multi-billion-dollar company now because they have all of these green marks. We can dive deeper later in the QA session. I can make hours of examples about this where you see what works good and what works not good. So the question here is always, don't ask what you want to sell. Ask yourself what your customer or your product should make the user become. Now we come to the absolute topic where we started. How I'm in the time? Oh, I'm always done. So we make a quick one. Do I have 10 minutes left? 5 minutes? Cool. I make a very fast run to this one. You know, a lot of innovations, you make the innovation and you think everybody should love it. But it's like Alice in Wonderland, yeah? Alice in Wonderland is always the idea of, hey, this is an awesome land. It's innovative, it's cool, it's magic. But you remember what happens. She runs in there and she wants to escape. She was not happy there. Alice in Wonderland is a frightening nightmare, if you believe it. So she wants to escape. She was not happy. And it's still not easy to step in. So this is a bit about the VR, XR experience. So what is the difficulty here? And again, we are always performing in reality. I move a bit forward. I don't want to go to this because of timing. Let's go here. A lot of innovation starts with this moment. And I think Apple will give us the same. Great machine, but not accessible by price. And now we talk about the Ferrari effect. The Ferrari effect, or the Ferrari problem, how it's called here. If you have a Ferrari, you should never let one drive who has not a driving license. Yeah, so if yes, good luck for both. For the people outside and the guy inside. So still we have the problem of, hey, if you want to drive a Ferrari, this is only made for specialists. A lot of innovations, especially in the XR industry, in the VR and XR industry, are made for specialists. It's not made for everybody suitable. What to do? At the end, and this is also one of my most used sentences in all contacts to clients and to every other people which come to us and want to have something innovative. Just a little example. We were asked for a big bank, a private bank, to visualize the money flow from their 5 most biggest private persons that have more than 1 billion in their account and they manage it. And they want to have a visualization of the money in AR. And we were like, why? Why should I make a money visualization in augmented reality? What you need is a desktop app, cool 3D animations, awesome graphics, yeah, and emotional sounds in the best to get them to make cheers with champagne after you make the presentation. They wanted to have it, we made it with a lot of, but we know it will not work. And then they have it, and the first question after 1 hour presentation to the board, can we have this as a PC version? And we were lucky to say yes, because it's just a deployment target to augmented reality. We have prepared everything in the background because we know that you wanted to have it, and they got it. So go to this topic here. It's about a dependency of the 3 points which you cannot look at independent. There is a need, there is a goal, there is whatever you want, a lecture you want to do, a feature, whatever, yeah? A need, a target. There is technology which you can use to achieve this target or to support this target. And this is mostly the people stop here. Yeah? They say, yes, I take a VR device. Yes, I take a supercomputer. Yes, I make real-time 3D and high-end rendering. And then there suddenly comes the question, okay, but I have 800 students I have to walk through in 1 day. VR devices was not the best decision. So I need for everybody 10 minutes of getting them in. Nobody has it at home. You cannot afford to buy the latest device. So what always is exactly same important like this axis here is how do you want to operate it? How do you want to bring it to people? And then you have to decide, and if you remember the virtual cinema you saw, we didn't go for 6 DOF. Yeah? We don't did it because we said, hey, nobody will use it. I cannot bring it to the people. I need 2 hostesses, a square meter of 3 rooms. If you want to train 600 people, no chance. So we focused on an innovation level below and didn't build a Ferrari. We know there are Ferraris for hard operations, mechanics on Atomkraftwerken. It makes sense. But for the crowd, it doesn't make sense. So sometimes don't build a Ferrari. Build a VW Käfer, please. Yeah, it would be important. And I can quit anytime. So if you have this situation, you don't need a Ferrari. Sometimes, sorry it's in German, where nothing is a little bit helps. It's a sentence from when I bought my house and I renovated my bath. I had 6 centimeters of stone of an old house from 1900, so it was at the top, so stones, no isolation. And my architect says to me, hey, we have now to make 32 centimeters of outside isolation, and you have to build everything away from the house. It was the only place in the house where nothing was. And I said, no, you make an inside isolation with 16 centimeters, I give you not more space. And then he answered to me, wo nix ist, hilft wenig viel. So where nothing is, a bit helps already. But sometimes with innovative stuff, even this is too much. I give you now a video from a school event. And this is not us. Go back. So this was from an American institute who tried to bring VR into schools. But they forgot the operation. If you give kids in this age a disconnect to their peer group and they only have not visual contact anymore, only by voice, it looks like this. Thank you, it sounds like this. Denglish is the most common English word here. So the operation was impossible. The teacher cannot do anything. Yeah, and this was just still images, not moving images. So we made the same with Cornelsen and Samsung, and this, again, very old. It's not the newest stuff from us. I want not to have the sound here. I will close with sound latest. But what we did is to bring the operation part inside. And the first answer we said to them was, please never put everybody into a VR device. This will not be manageable. If you want to operate it, please bring one child and another child with a tablet into a team play. And they can talk to each other and they can interact with each other, but calm. And suddenly it works. And I think I have given you enough. My time is over. I want to give you the Swastlansing. And this is our Christmas card. Also, because you're gamers, a couple of here, and we have never had use cases for this. So this is our Xmas card, where we ask, give me a second, where we ask 10 musicians here in Cologne to sing Leise rieselt der Schnee. So we gave tempo, we gave the tonality, and they delivered us 18 soundtracks of Leise rieselt der Schnee. We built then our Christmas card, and the Christmas card, our little 3D, is in Unity, also for familiar with all the game stuff we had before. We built a Unity app that uses our sync tool, and each of this character can just play one sound file. So you have to bring all the devices together to build an orchestra. And therefore, I want to close my session and give you the last impression here. Difficult to hear now, guitars comes, bass comes. One more second to the last screen, and thank you very much.
So, I really liked the video of the kids. They're all like confused and screaming and what's going on. Have you experienced such a situation yourself?
Yes, we have a good relationship to the school from my kids. So we make all the tests inside there. And we have then found out that if we work with still images, not moving images, and have this peering stuff and also monitor, it goes, yeah, it works. But the best situation if you have peering. So we have a school to test it. And the Samsung and Cornelsen case you saw, we built a set with 30 devices. And it was tested 6 months in schools. And we have so awesome results about A/B testing class. So what is the knowledge after 1 hour, after 1 week, after 1 month, and after a year? We had such awesome results, but you know the German school system. So
Unfortunately,
again,
yes.
operation not possible. It's now thrown away and nobody use it.
Oh no, what a shame.
Yes.
But why do you think it's so important, or why did it work so well when you have only one of the peers in VR and the other one on the tablet? You said it's working better, and we saw that it's working better. But why is it the case?
Because you have to start by the user needs first, always. If you don't have any innovation, if you ignore the user needs, you can throw the innovation in past. So what is the main reason for the kids to exist? Not to learn. The main reason is to have a peer, to share their experience and to talk and to have fun. So if you, Samsung asked us to have, can we have an image with all goggles on? And we said, no, you will not have this image and you don't want to have this image. Because why it's so working so good? Because we make a two-player gameplay. So there was a mirror on the tablet where you see what's inside of the device, of the VR device. And then there was a question game between both devices. Sometimes the device have to question something to the tablet and they have to work something there and vice versa. And in this moment, there was no space for distractions and they have all their needs fulfilled. I have a peer, I can communicate, and again, there is one with eyes, so I'm not blind. There is one with me who can see. Because the most stress we have in VR devices is what happens around me.
So it's more about the interaction between the two persons and not
Absolutely.
between the person and the VR experience.
Exactly. It's at the end it's all human. Yeah. And there was I make the sound out, but off. But the nicest comments was from one guy who said, "To see it in real was the best moment." Because we make a digestion through the whole body. That was for me, love it. Yeah? So they blend out these distance of digital to real. And the second was from a girl who said this was the first lecture session where I didn't talk about anything else than the curriculum stuff. First one. First session ever where we didn't talk about anything else. And we do now a project for the Uniklinik Aachen where we make the nurse training. And there we go even one step more back. We make all the digital twins, all the training, only mobile first. No hardware, only the browser is our display because they have 600 per year. Yeah, and they have individual, they have multi-language, they have parents which have then a course in the evening, and we have to stretch it. So we go there, even the technology step back, and say, don't even take the simplest VR device, make everything real-time 3D, and then everything in 3JS to have it on all browsers maximum fluently.
Do we have any questions from the audience, or should we skip to the next and last session?
There's one more.
It's like a closing session.
Okay, sorry.
But also, I think you are going to be available for the rest of the day, and
No.
you'll walk. So
My daughter has birthday, I have to leave.
So this is this is the point in time you can catch him, or maybe on the way out, just pull him besides, and then we're going into a last very short break, and we'll have a short closing session before we end the stream for today. So stay tuned for a couple of minutes, and we will be back shortly. Thank you for your attention, and thank you.
Thank you.